Save the World has just got a huge update, once again, changing more than one mission, several missions, a new mission, and just a bunch of fixes as well. It's time. We're getting some love, and it's beautiful to see. Hello, I'm CammyG, and welcome back to our Fortnite Save the World videos. So yes, we have plenty of brand new changes that came to Save the World with this week's update, and they include several missions, including the Hunt the Titan beta mission, which is no longer a beta, it is a full mission. You can see if we hover over the Twine map, it used to have a beta like every few levels, but you don't see it anymore. You don't see that mission until we come all the way to here, and you can see it. There's no beta symbol, dramatic zoom. It is just a proper mission. It is just a mission now, no beta, and there was a quest line related to that, so that would give you a hero, so that would give Snowstrike, and it would give the Primal Flamebow, so those can still be attained, just not from this mission. So Snowstrike will be in the event store during Frozen Fjords, which is the season coming next week, and then the Primal Flamebow will be in the Blasted Badlands season, so that'll be next summer when you can get that again. Of course, you can get those, I believe, with the vouchers, but they are quite scarce, so you probably want to get them, you know, in the event store and when the Blasted Badlands season comes through. But yeah, this was actually sort of alluded to. There was a counter in the, or a expiration date in the Save the World files for the Hunt the Titan beta, stating that it would end basically on November the 10th, and now we're on November the 11th, and yeah, it ended. But we did get a full mission. It wasn't just wiped out completely. It hasn't just gone. It has just become a proper mission in the sort of regular roster. We've also got mission improvements on some of the core missions to the game. So the first is Resupply. So if you've played this mission before, you'll know that the storm closes in as you're going around farming. It honestly can be annoying. It doesn't really pose a challenge because the storm doesn't really do too much damage, and it doesn't really make sense to be linked to a resupply mission because resupply can often task you with getting some really annoying things. The main one being the air supply drops, which, you know, once they're in the storm, it can just get a bit annoying, but yeah, there's no storm in it anymore. So you've got the whole map to go for 10 minutes, and yeah, there's no storm coming in. And speaking of the air supply drops, that objective, the retrieve the crates, as well as some of the bonus objectives, have been removed. So basically just focused on gathering stuff, which now works on how many objects you've gathered or searched. So instead of it being, I haven't actually been in yet, but instead of it being, you know, 25 trees, 15 rocks, and then search 25 things, instead you get bronze from getting 50 things, silver's 100, gold is 200, and platinum is 300. So it just, as many things you farm, your score goes up. It doesn't matter, you don't have to get 25 trees and 15 rocks, you can get 50 trees, by the way this is worded, or you could just search 300 things to get platinum if you want. So bronze is a success, so as long as you do 50 things, which is a lot easier because before it would be 25 trees, 15 rock, and 25 search, which is a combination of 65 plus the air supply drops that you needed as well to succeed. So that mission has just got a lot easier, which, I mean, it doesn't need to be that easy, but it's short. I mean, it's good for the player, I guess. They're probably trying to incentivize farming, given the, you know, not being able to drop weapons and materials between players. No more of that trading stuff, so that's probably why that change has come. We've also got Eliminate and Collect has an update. So now you'll need fewer enemy eliminations and fewer enemy data samples to complete the objectives. So that basically just means it's easier. It already was easy enough, I'm not going to lie. You could solo this very easily on your own. 15 data, I believe it was needed. Sometimes it was 10. I'm not sure if that's just lower areas. And then I think it was around 200 eliminations. That seems quite high, though. Maybe it wasn't that much. But it's less now. And yeah, if you've got a full team of 4, you're going to do that in like a minute flat. And then you've got 9 minutes to just vibe, basically, for the rest of the mission. You can do what you want. But not only that, it is now also easier as well, because enemies will appear inside and around the storm circle. So that mission also has the storm where it, you know, comes in and the circle gets smaller and smaller. That is still the case. But when it, you know, as it gets smaller and smaller, you still get enemies spawn inside that circle. Whereas before, you'd have like 5 minutes at the end where it's a tiny circle, and enemies didn't actually spawn in that circle, they just sort of spawned around it, but they wouldn't come to you unless you shot them or were close enough to them. They'd sort of just walk wherever they pleased. So now it's more, there's going to be more action. It'll be a bit less boring, I guess. Can't say the same for the resupply. There's not really anything going on there that keeps it engaging, other than, you'll play it if you need to farm, but it's still an easy mission. So yeah, that's the missions. We've got basically three mission changes, which is kind of crazy, as well as the new mission in the Hunter Titan mission. So yeah, crazy stuff. There's a lot of changes for one update for Save the World. I'm not gonna lie, compared to what we usually get, this is good signs of things to come, I think. We've also got some bug fixes, if you can even say the word right. I personally, I'm not sure about these changes. I mean, obviously they're positive in general. It's making missions easier, which is good for, newer players and the general player base, I suppose. But those that maybe play this game a lot, really grind it, play it all the time, stuff like making it require less eliminations in Eliminate and Collect, and making the resupply mission as dumbed down as just search or farm anything. It kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because it just seems way too simple. I feel like it was beneficial to have actual key objectives, like you have to get trees, you have to get rocks, you have to search things. I think partly, in fact, because it teaches new players that, searching things gives you good things. It teaches new players that trees and rocks give you good materials. If you break the full thing, you get planks. If you break a full rock, you get rough ore, and you can get you can get powder from trees, you can get twine. I feel like those are good lessons to people. And also, then when you're a higher level, I think it's important because it just keeps things interesting. If you've got a goal to work towards, like, we've got our trees, now we can go get the rocks. It keeps you a bit more busy, it keeps you more focused. It makes it, it's not much more challenging. And personally, I think they should revert it to trees, rocks, search, and then add some other things. You could reduce the amounts, but I feel like this just makes it too easy, maybe. Obviously, for the newer players, it is beneficial. You could always have the mission objectives change depending on what level you are, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. As for the Eliminate and Collect one, it didn't actually seem like it was that much different. So I went into a mission and it was 20 samples, which I'm sure I've had 15 before. I'm sure it's, like, when you're solo especially, I went in there on my own, I'm sure it's usually less. But no, it was 20, and the eliminations were 160, which I think is down from 200. But I don't know, the eliminations were never the hard thing, because the data is RNG. You might forget to pick it up. It is marked on the map, of course, but I don't know, the data was always the harder bit. Sometimes I get the eliminations before getting the data, so I don't know, for me personally. But the whole change around, having more enemies spawn inside the survivable circle, I think that's great, and I definitely think that's a good change. So the whole ledge glitch, if you didn't know about that, they were effectively, husks were scared of heights before. They sort of messed that up in the previous update, and they were not dropping down from ledges. That has been fixed now, so they will drop down as usual. There was an issue on PC, I believe, where around mapping your jump button, but that's been fixed. But I mean, for me, that's not really relevant. But good for those people. Heroes star levels now display correctly on the loading into the lobby. I noticed this was an issue because mine that are 130 would always show as having one supercharged star for some reason. That's supposedly been fixed. Nothing too crazy there, but it's quality of life, The sidekick's name would apparently appear on world objects, but that no longer happens. Storm Shield Defense and Endurance Amplifiers now have their intended collision again, so there was a bug where you could actually walk inside the amplifiers. I noticed a post on Reddit the other day, actually, where someone said a new strat is to just stand inside the amplifiers. Didn't even know that was a thing, and it's already been patched, so this is why you don't use bugs and stuff to rely on your builds. Just go with the classic endurance builds. By the way, if you don't have those, check out the description. Storm King's Onslaught, the pistol, has a fix now, where the projectiles now correctly hit detached shielders, so there must have been an issue before where they didn't. I haven't really used this pistol that much, so I haven't noticed it, but if you do use that pistol a lot, you should hopefully see a nice change to that. And then there's also an error with the ancient launcher's higher level ability being locked even if the weapon hadn't reached that level, so I think we noticed that as well on one of the streams. You were using a power level 20 ancient launcher, and we were using that second fire mode, and it was decimating enemies because it's linked to your ability damage instead of the weapon damage. But it seems like that now, if we go to it, you don't get that, that target update enemies, blah blah blah. You don't get that till you level up the weapon all the way to level 3 stars, I think it would be. If that's the bug fixes. So that's basically everything that's changed in the update. Now there's some known issues that they're still aware of and are still working on. One of those main ones being the ninja heroes not being able to use the Mantis Leap ability consistently, which is annoying, and it definitely made doing the MSK on the weekend a lot harder. But they're aware of it, and they will, be working on fixing that. There's the shockwave for soldiers, can be locked out if interrupted by player-built ramps, roofs, or slope terrain, so they're aware of that one as well. There's a visual bug with bullets on some assault rifles and SMGs that may make them look like they're going the wrong direction. An issue around the plasma pulse when using a bow. The commander perk Buckle Plus isn't working properly and actually does less damage the higher your weapon level is, which is a weird bug that I haven't noticed, but I haven't really used that hero. But they're aware of that. There's just an animation bug. And then in the Survive the Night, there was some missing areas in the sort of attic of the mansion, which supposedly, will be coming back at some point in the future. But for now, it's still missing. It's just part of the ghostly effect in that area. That the whole roof is just one poltergeist, and it's missing because it's invisible, because it's a ghost. But that's fine. But yeah, that is all of the changes. Beautiful stuff. What do you think about this stuff? I personally, I take this as a message that they are, caring about the game. They are still updating the game and want to, fix bugs where they can, add new stuff where they can, and make the player experience better where they can. Now, if they were planning on sacking this game off in a year's time, for example, I don't think they would go to the effort of, making resupply easier and making eliminating collect easier. I don't see that happening. And, making this come out of beta is a clear message that they have future plans for this game, whether it be big or small. There is something there, and they do plan on sort of, supporting this game going forward. So it's good news, I think, personally. I know it's only a small change in the grand scheme of things, but you just have to think, it could be nothing. We could have got nothing. So, I don't know what else to say, but thank you so much for watching. As usual, please do leave a like if you enjoyed. It's free to do. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.